You're watching Pyro Media Network.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hello, and welcome to my show. It's Just Kim, live. Yes, live and in person in color. How about that? I'm excited today, and I'm going to kind of jump into it today because I have a very special guest with me, and she's so amazing, and she has so many parts to her that I don't want to waste any time. First of all, I just want to say that, this is the show where it's a different space where we talk about all things women, where we talk about relationships, education, things grounded in faith and wisdom and real life, real talk, right? Real talk. And today I want to kind of delve into a couple areas of women's health care, actually. My guest today is Charlette Withers, MSN. She is a board certified nurse midwife, amazing woman of God. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a first lady, and I'll let her tell you about those things. But I've been knowing Charlette for a long time, a very long time. I knew her. She knew me when I was younger, and I knew her when she was very young. So, and I've always had an affinity towards her, always loved her. She's always been the same person, always just sweet and kind, very humble, but she's about her business. And so I'm so impressed with her and all the things that she's doing with her life and in her life. So I just want to bring her on, and I'm going to take some time to read her bio because it is so worth hearing. Okay, so let's bring her on in. Hello, Charlette. Hello. I'm so happy you are here.
Hi, I'm so happy
you're here with me. I've been wanting to have you. I've been watching you on Instagram and all the things and watching all the wonderful things that you're doing. And I've been saying, God, I got to get her on my show. And so I'm so happy today that we're able to do it.
Yes.
So I want to start. I don't typically read a person's entire bio, but I'm gonna move through it as quick as I can. But I just feel like your bio is so worth reading. It's so worth sharing. The information and what the story that it tells about you, your real life, is just amazing to me. So let me start by saying that Charlette Withers, MSN, CNM, is a board certified nurse midwife and advanced practice nurse with over 2 decades. You don't even look like you're 2 decades of nursing experience, beginning her career in 2001. Her clinical foundation was built in labor and delivery. I'm going to ask a few questions about that, where she developed a deep commitment to women's health advocacy and patient-centered care, which is so important, especially for us Black women. Yeah. Alongside her bedside work, Charlette has held leadership roles supporting clinical teams, guiding care delivery, contributing to program development within women's health settings. In 2013, she entered her Master's of Science in Nursing program with an emphasis in midwifery. I don't know if I said it right or not. She graduated in 2016 and then started this role of midwifery in 2017. So she provides comprehensive women's health care spanning pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and gynecologic care throughout even today. In 2022, and this is part of the real deal why we're here today, she founded Spa Femme, that's SPAFEMME, a boutique woman-focused wellness practice created to bridge the gap between traditional medicine and modern personalized care. Yeah. Spa Femme offers an integrative approach to women's health through 3 core pillars, and we're going to ask her about those: hydration, wellness, and beauty. Her services include a myriad of things, and we're going to ask her about those things a little later. But I just want to go ahead and get started with my amazing interview with Mrs. Charlette Withers, a beautiful woman of God who is providing services for women and blessing them all at the same time. So thank you. I wish we had a round of applause to play.
Thank you.
You deserve a standing ovation.
Oh, bless you. Thank
you.
I
want to talk about, first of all, let's get the preliminaries out the way. There you go. Yes, everybody stand up and clap. So you are married, you are a mom. So just quickly tell us about that. And you have a church.
Okay. Yes. So yes, I'm married to Bishop Johnny Withers for the last, we almost hitting 23 years.
What?
Can you believe that? Yes. We almost hitting 23 years. We have 2 kids. One Janae, who is an adult doing her thing in her career. Okay. And then we have Jaya, who is now a 9th grader in high school. So I can't even believe when I look at all the things. And so, my husband pastors Unity Church in Compton. And for the past 27 years, he's been there. And I've watched the whole thing unfold. And now the whole vision just unfold. And so God is so good, and He has allowed me. I'm really, really, sometimes my mouth is open about how God allows us, and He gives us the strength to do a lot of things at one time. Yeah. But I am so honored to do that. And I really stand by that, Pastor Kim. I don't believe that, just because you are a first lady or that you maybe pastor a church or whatnot. And especially when I speak to first ladies, it's like, live out your dream, that God called you to. Of course, you've been called to walk alongside of your husband, but there's more to you than just that.
That's right, girl.
I really, really believe wholehearted in that. And I definitely walk in it and really take care of home first. But I do believe in seeing what God said for my life as well.
I love that. And you are a walking, talking example of that God has more for us, or he has something for us,
Yeah.
you know, outside of walking beside our husbands and making sure that home is taken care of and that, you know, the church is good and
Right.
the children are great. And, you know, but I'm so proud because I've known both you and your husband. I think you guys were teenagers
Yeah.
when I first met you. Yes. And you are still the same. Of course, you've grown and developed in many ways, but you still have that same humble spirit that you had when I very first met you. And so I'm just excited that you're here with me. Now, I kind of want to dig into your journey, you know, where all this got started. So just kind of what drew you to nursing? What made you want to be a nurse?
You know, I think back at like, you know, how kids, you know, sometimes you'll be playing with certain things and you're like, oh, I want to be this or I want to be that. And, you know, I almost can't really remember like doing that, except for one time. I think we had to dress for Halloween and I dressed up to be a nurse.
Really?
And yes. And I was thinking, okay, you know, I really felt like empowered in that costume. I was like, okay,
Wow.
you know, but I didn't really put too much emphasis on it. I think I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. Now, I came from a family where I had an aunt who was also in nursing. I really didn't know much as growing up about what she did, but I do know that as I got into like a teenager, I know that I did learn that she was women's health nurse practitioner.
Oh.
And so sometimes I would kind of go, you know, to her job and kind of see what she was doing. And, you know, and I know, even though that's why we don't know how we influence our kids or those people who are around us, because influences hit everybody differently. It's not like you sit there in awe all the time. But sometimes it's just that passing by or just that one phrase or that one opportunity that really sticks with a person. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think my aunt had a lot to do with my and also my drawing to women. Yeah. Okay. And so from there, you know, I remember going to they had like a nursing thing at USC. I did that during high school, but you know, I didn't really have too much of a plan. You know, I still, you know, was one of the ones in high school. Now, Pastor Kim, like I was different than when you found me. You know, I was different than when you found me. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't the good girl too much in high school. So I really didn't have a plan. And it wasn't until, you know, literally when I went into my first year of college, not really having a plan. I don't remember being backed by a lot of people as far as like where the Black students were going. And, you know, like kind of, I don't remember having too much support from our staff, like helping us towards college, or even maybe my mind just wasn't there. You know, sometimes if you're not in that mode, you don't really kind of get that group of people and that support. And so, you know, my grades weren't the greatest when I got out of high school. So I really couldn't apply to a lot of different universities, but I said, you know what, I am definitely going to school. And so I went to junior college and I went to LA Harbor College and from there, you know, but that first year of college was something, it was too many distractions. Yeah. I mean, it always is. Distractions. And I ended up actually on academic probation. So that same aunt that I'm talking about, she told me, she said, you know what, like, hey, listen, there's a program at Linwood High School. Let's come do this LVN program. Wow. And so I said, all right, let me put this on pause. I went and did the LVN program. And from there, I got serious somewhere along the way. Okay. I got serious there in that LVN program. And that's where it took off for me. Because it didn't start off so good, you know, but it ended well. So that's the encouragement for anybody. Now
that is encouragement, because sometimes we think that when we get into these programs or we go to college that everything is supposed to be perfect. Yeah. But I, like you, was not doing very well in my first year of college and was on academic probation for a couple years, you know, because of all the distractions. Yes. So I had a lot of distractions. Yes. And I think I married my distractions. My biggest distraction.
Right. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but as life would have it, we're here now.
We're here.
So,
And
but
God
he
yep.
definitely promised my dad that she'll finish school, because we had the whole situation. We got pregnant, and then we had decided we were going to get married, but we had to decide quicker.
Yeah.
So, all those things. So that's kind of how we started out. And I did go back to school and I got my degrees, and, he supported me, 100% to make sure that happened. And so, I thank God for my children. I thank God for my church, my life, so I, like you, hey, it wasn't all rosy. It wasn't peaches and cream. It wasn't perfect, but it was my life and my journey.
That's right.
And so everyone's journey is different. So I appreciate you being honest about that. So what caused you to transition from, I know you said, always interested in women's healthcare, but what made you look at becoming a midwife?
Okay. So now this is something, I feel like I feel like midwifery found me, kind of. I feel like it's almost like a calling more so than a profession. That's how I look at it. Okay.
Yes.
So later on, I'll tell you what I found out later on. So like I told you, I think I was inspired by my aunt. She did women's health, nurse practitioner, but she didn't do any delivering of babies. She just always worked with women. Okay. Now, my first year of nursing, when I did graduate, that's when back in the day when they were saying, hey, you should do 1 year of med surg. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll do 1 year of med surg. That was like a rule back then. Like you should do 1 year of med surg before you try to go find a specialty. It's not so much like that anymore. So I went and did the 1 year of med surg. I was like, no. Like, no, I don't really care to deal with men like that. I just, taking care of it. It's a different whole ball game.
Yeah.
And I said, no, this is even med surg. This is not my thing. And I believe that I had a job with the one hospital, and my boss brought me in, and she sat me down, and she said, I just don't know. I don't think that this is really working for you. And she was kind of going through all the things, and it was pretty tough there. And somebody having their first job, you really didn't have. People have that crab in the bucket mentality, and the newer one, the young ones, the older ones just eat the new ones up. And so she actually let me go. So I was like, okay, fine. That's cool. I'm good, because I didn't really love it anyway, but I was like, I'm not gonna stop here. I picked up that phone and I called St. Francis, and I was asking them, I said, do you have any openings in your labor and delivery? And so the manager was telling me, no, we don't have any openings, but I just got through training like a bunch of people, and a lot of them already left. People were known to take the training from a hospital, get through the training, and then they would leave and go use it in other hospitals.
Oh, wow.
I told her, listen, if you let me come, I promise you I'll give you the time. Right then, the lady told me to come meet her, and I met her. She let me come in, and I stayed there for 7 years. And I can say I learned. That is where I started out labor and delivery. Wow. So still, I had no idea what a midwife was. Didn't know anything about them. I only saw, I was working in physician practice. This was a physician ran hospital. So I never knew even what a midwife was. I just knew I love labor and delivery. I love assisting the mothers to have their babies. And labor and delivery is a high adrenaline place.
Yes.
I mean, the emergencies that were at this particular hospital were just wild. I learned all kinds of high risk, and I knew that was my space. I liked the higher risk population. And so just moving on over, I worked as a traveler at King, and that's when I first saw a midwife. But being that was a teaching hospital, I didn't get a chance to really see what midwives were doing. And I didn't understand that I was in a place of gold. Actually, I saw a lot of Black midwives at that location. But it looked like they weren't doing much. It was like, okay, the residents are doing everything. I'm over here pushing with the patient. Like, what? What are they doing? Like, what are they doing? And I can say that as a labor and delivery nurse, and I still get this to this day, sometimes labor and delivery nurses, it seems as though, there's a hierarchy problem sometimes. And so you think, oh, they're not really doing anything, I'm doing everything, or what are they doing? And people just kind of don't respect each other's roles, or not really understanding what the other role is doing. And I can be guilty of that as an L&D nurse. I was thinking, well, what are they doing? I'm doing everything. So, okay, like really not giving them the props that I should have been. I wish that I knew who they were. I would have sat at those women's feet and I would have extracted so much information from them, but I just did not know. Wow. And so when I finally made it into the Kaiser system, no, it was no Black midwives, but there were midwives and they were functioning. They were actually doing. And so I got a chance to see, oh, they're taking care of the patient. Oh, okay. They are writing the orders. They are saying how the care is going. Okay, this is cool. And at that time I was a charge nurse on that particular floor. I had another friend who was also African-American L&D charge nurse who was also now in midwifery school. So I kind of was talking to her like, well, tell me what it's like and tell me what it's about. And she was in. And to this day, I still work with her. I always give her props. We work in the same hospital now. Yeah. She was like an influence to me because I got a chance to see what was about. Now, I still didn't know the significance of Black women in midwifery. In my population where I was working, there was not a lot of Black women. We did not see a lot of African American women in this particular setting. So I still knew nothing. It wasn't until I got into a midwifery program that I realized this is why I'm supposed to be here. It was almost spiritual, seriously. Wow. Why I'm supposed to be here, because in the United States, the Black maternal mortality rates are terrible. Yes. And these women need other people that look like them to take care of them. Yes. And they need people to understand them and who can meet them in a place where we all understand each other and we respect each other and we can talk a different language. Yes. So somewhere where Black women can come to be heard and they know that the person that they're sitting with really cares about their outcomes. And so that was not learned until in midwifery school. And I say it was probably a little paragraph, something like this. I had to go and dig and find out what a granny midwife was, what a Black midwife was. And then later to find out that I was in a lineage of Black midwives in my family. Back in the day, a lot of our grandparents, aunts, they were all born, right? So who was doing that? It was the midwives that was doing that in these homes. And those were the Black midwives, which you can hear people talk about granny midwives. And so I came from a lineage of that. My, I believe it's like my great grandmother was a midwife in the parishes of Louisiana. So this kind of came, I feel like it came and grabbed me. And so I can see why you say that. Yeah. Calling, not a profession. And I feel like I'm supposed to be here. And that's why I'm here. Oh, I got chills when you said that. That is in your lineage. It's in your bloodline. Yes. Woo. Yes. That's God right there. Yes. That is God. So in this role as a midwife, I know that you have the opportunity to be a blessing to women of color. And I'll tell you that I never knew how important it was for us to have healthcare people, that look like us. Because I tell you, my son, when he was born, he was 10 pounds and 5 ounces. Yes. Wow. And throughout my pregnancy, I kept telling my doctor, loved him. He was so cool, funny guy, all the things. But I kept telling him, Doc, this baby is huge. That my son is 32, 3, one of those. And they didn't do all those ultrasounds and things like that back then, Right. And so I kept saying, this baby's really big. I feel this baby in my throat and down below, and he kept saying, oh, it's not, it's because I had a few, what do you call them? I had a few of the cysts inside that were growing along fibroids with him. Yeah, fibroids. And so he said, yeah, the fibroids are growing. That's, you're probably feeling him just getting squeezed in there.
And I was like, I don't know. I'm not able to lay down when I sleep. I have to sleep in a chair. I'm uncomfortable. I just feel like this baby is really huge. And so not until my son was born did he know how large he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to deliver him naturally.
Yeah.
And he was so large that when he was coming out, because he has such broad shoulders, the doctor had to pop his collarbone so that he could fold in and come all the way out.
Yeah.
And so I remember him sitting on the end of my bed the next day when he came by to do his rounds and said, I apologize. You kept telling me that this baby is big. He said he really should have been born by cesarean.
Yeah.
And I just think, I think back on, he didn't listen to me. It didn't dawn on me till years later when you start hearing about how doctors don't listen to, especially Black women. They don't, they think we're exaggerating, that we're being, over the top and, all those things. But I actually really should have delivered my son via C-section, God graced us both to live through the whole process,
Right.
And he was huge. People would say, oh, your baby's so cute. How old is he? 3 months? And I'm like, no, 3 weeks, He was so huge, so I appreciate knowing that there are still midwives, because I had family members who were midwives. Of course, everybody was born at home.
Right.
And so it's just good to know that that practice is still going on to this day. And hopefully more and more, after seeing this episode, maybe more young women who are into the nursing profession or are thinking about it would even go into that practice as well.
Yes.
So would you say that being a midwife is a more holistic approach to women's health care, or is it about the same?
Well, I will say this. There are midwives and there's different types of midwives. There are midwives who are in the hospital, who are able to work in the hospital, like myself, who have a nursing background, and then we obtain our master's degree and we sat for the boards in midwifery, and we studied with the specialty of women. Now, there are some midwives who are licensed midwives, or certified midwives who may not have a nursing background. They do not usually have nursing backgrounds, but they're able to go through their apprenticeship. They're able to go through the schooling. They're able to sit then again for the boards, and they still can practice midwifery. But these midwives are practicing in your birth centers, and they also are delivering women at home. These midwives are delivering women who have low intervention pregnancies, no complications, that would cause a problem while you're delivering them in a lower care setting. Now, like myself, I may see a patient who has gestational hypertension, or who has gestational diabetes, or these women like you're talking about, where I'm watching them and they're growing bigger babies, and I have to transfer them to the doctor because I am suggesting now that they should deliver by C-section. So my acuity can be probably more. It definitely will be more because the population of demographics is different. Now, everybody does not qualify to deliver in a home or in a birth center. As we know, sometimes the risk factors just don't allow for that. And that's why I am very honored to be a midwife that does work in the hospital, because I still give midwifery care as best as I can. Of course, in the hospital setting, there's other stipulations and those boundaries and those, I call them boundaries, but sometimes also those safeguards that help to hold us in so that we are not just out there doing, whatever that might not be in our scope of practice. And that we can get, and that we could be able to get the help that we need when we need it for those things. So I'm happy to be here for these women, because some women will never, ever get to even get the touch of a midwife unless it was coming through the hospital. So I believe that I try my best to stay in to community with those outside, like those community birth midwives, because we never know when we might need each other. So it should be a big community.
That's good.
So I try my best to do that. There are sometimes that if something goes wrong at home, I got community birth midwife friends that are calling me saying, hey, are you at the hospital? Because they need to transfer their patient.
Wow.
They want to bring the patient still to a midwife. So it is different, but it's still needed in all areas.
That's good. And that's good to know that you have that community where you can rely on each other, you know, and that midwife can say, hey, something's not going right. So we're going to bring them to you, another midwife. It
should be that way. And that's just something that I've established in my area because I know these women who are practicing in the area around here. So that's why you should, you know, get out and go outside of where you just actually work. Go in, rub shoulders with the community and get in there and kind of see what's going on out there as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Tell me this. What is one myth? Because there's so many myths out there. But what is one myth in women's healthcare that you wish we would stop believing as women?
Oh, let's see, in women's healthcare. Oh Lord, it's so many. In regards to, I think in regards to that you do have to accept whatever provider or whatever, you know, physician is given to you. You do not.
Okay. Good.
I mean, just saying, like, if there is a physician or I don't care if it's another midwife, if it is anybody that is like opposite of your beliefs or opposite of what you would like to receive as care, you can change. If there's a hospital that does not line up with your, you know, your standards or your, you know, your philosophies, you don't have to deliver there. You know what I mean? So people tend to think whatever I'm given, that's what I have to accept. No, you absolutely do not. And so people need to learn definitely how to advocate for themselves, that you do not have to accept it just because somebody gave it to you.
That's so good. That's so good. Because I was even going to ask you, you know, what we can do as women to better advocate for our own health care in these medical settings. You know, if there's a doctor, and now I'm older now, so I'm just setting my ways in a lot of reasons. But when we come back, we're going to go to a commercial. But when we come back, I want you to just give us a few little tips on how we can better advocate for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right, we'll be right back.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, it's Dr. Nicole D. Vick from Dr. Victorious, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
All right, so we are back, and I have Charlette Withers with me. She's just been schooling us on midwifery and just the healthcare system. And so the last thing that we talked about was, or I asked a question, just give us a few tips on how we as women, especially Black women, how we can better advocate for ourselves when it comes to our healthcare.
Absolutely. Well, definitely the first thing is, and I definitely believe in, educate yourself or get someone to coach you through whatever that situation is. So say for instance, like with birth, I definitely will sit with couples to educate them on how something should be going and how it looks when it's not going the way that it should look.
Wow.
So therefore, then if you see opposite of what we have been, educating on, then it's time to say, hey, wait a minute, I don't want that like that, or this is not what I'm, what I'm expecting to happen, or can you explain to me what we're doing next or whatnot. So sometimes, patients do need to understand what questions can they ask. So it depends on what whatever the subject matter might be. But say, like, since we're talking about women's health, if it has to do something with hormone therapy, or if it has to do with birth, or it has to do with, anything about the reproductive years, you want to make sure that you know as much as you can know about that subject. So then therefore you can ask educated questions. I believe that when you're sitting with a provider, if a person knows that you understand what you're talking about, it seems that people gather more respect for you, and they understand that
I agree with that.
Yeah. So they cannot just tell you any old thing,
and
then just think that you're going to accept it. And if you don't understand something, ask for clarification. Can you please clarify that, or tell me what source I can go read, or do you have some type of a source that can let me know, or we can discuss, or some kind of article or something that you can give to me so I can read more on that, because they should be able to provide that. I mean, like I said, with birth, I teach couples or mothers, like, hey, these are the signs that you, these are the red flags. These are the times that you should say, hey, this is going on with me, and this is not normal. So this is what I'm coming to report, or if they're even during labor, hey, this is our plan. This is our birth plan. So if we're going to be deviating off of this birth plan, I want to know why. I want to know what happened. Is there anything else we can do besides what you're telling me, and just allow for them to be able to be educated by the provider, which we should never have a problem with doing that with our patients, explaining what's next, and then getting a consent. That's another thing. We always want to, for any situation, your provider should be getting an informed consent from you. And that means that you've been informed about the risk, you've been informed about the benefits, and you've been informed about what the outcome should look like. And then you can say yes or no to that. But don't expect for someone to just say, okay, you come in and telling them what is going to happen, and then they're just going to say, okay. No, we should not just bow down to what's being told. Ask questions and be educated on the subject.
I love that. I love that, because I feel like in so many times we do, especially in times past where, you didn't ask the doctor questions. You just took what he or she said, mostly he, and took what they said, and you ran with it, or you just accepted it. And maybe it wasn't the best thing for you. I feel like if I had pushed my doctor a little harder, maybe he would have gotten, an ultrasound so he could actually see that my son was 10 pounds and 5 ounces, and that it would probably be more healthy or safer for me to have delivered him via C-section.
Correct.
So thank you for sharing that. Now I want to talk about spa film. Okay. How about that? I want to move right into that. I feel like this is your new baby.
Yeah.
And it's really not that new, because you started this in 2022.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. So where did it come from? Where did the thought, the idea, the dream? I mean, was it something you always wanted to do?
again, it was one of those things where, I heard there are two nurse practitioners that I believe, I always tell them, and I still talk to them to this day, and I'm like, I don't even know where I found you guys at, but it might have been on Instagram. I saw two Black professional women talking about IV hydration therapy. And I was like, okay, like, let's see what they're talking about, or, like, what's going on with this. And they were talking about IV hydration therapy, and then how nurses can get into this, and, how it can be, like basically like women and nurses are doing very well in this aspect of wellness. And I was like, let me find out about this. So comes to find out that this nurse practitioner, Dr. Kiana Jones and Dr. and Crystal Parker, they were doing a class in Downey. And I was like, okay, that's near home.
Mm-hmm.
Go do this class and see what's going on. So I took the class, and it was like some light bulb just kind of came on to say, wow, like, you really can be an entrepreneur as well as a nurse at the same time. I mean, it was right after she had done it. She was doing it. We were actually having a class in her establishment. And I was like, okay, now I've always been the one to think, if somebody else can do it, I know I can do it. I've always been the one to say, all right, well, let's go. Let's do it. I don't have much time to think about it. I'm like, okay, I learned the details. They gave me all the blueprint here. So I'm going to take this step by step and do it. And so I will say that I had surgery, and that required for me to lay still, like, for some time. I couldn't just move around like I normally did. And so while I was like recovering from surgery, like, I would wake up in the morning and I really couldn't jump up and just go do stuff. And so I would just be laying there. And I know that's how God really deals with me. I literally have notes where I was like, okay, today I'm going to do this. I'm going to find out about this. And I would just writing notes along with what I already learned from them. And I just started researching. I was like, what can I do with this as a certified nurse midwife? Like, they're telling me that regular, that RNs with no advanced practice can do this. But what can I do with my advanced practice, and along with all the expertise that I have, and as an RN? So I got my little ducks in a row and started doing it as she had instructed us to do. And I began to formulate this IV hydration business. Now, this was concierge at first. I did not have a brick and mortar.
I remember that. I remember you had your little suitcase and you was rolling.
That's all you need. And so you had everything in there, and I would go and meet patients at their homes. And then I eventually started to work here and there at another wellness, like a Eastern medicine clinic. I would go there on Saturdays, and I had lined up IVs to do, with different patients who had different ailments. Some people were post-cancer patients. Some people had different ailments, and a lot of the vitamins would assist them in a lot of their ailments. And now we're not talking medication now. We're not talking the things that not something that you don't need an order for, but we're talking vitamins and hydration. So I was like, okay, I've done much more, like more riskier medicines. I've helped out with this before, but just learning about what IV hydration can do as far as vitamins, as far as peptides, as far as that's pretty much what I was doing in like vitamin injections at that time. And so once you open up that world of wellness, I believe that God, he pushes me into a door, and then he allows for me to just get hit by everything that's in the room.
Wow.
And from there, I'm just starting to become a sponge, and I just began to take it in and figure out how can I make this work for me. So I always called it Spa Femme, because again, my heart is still really with women. Not that I do not treat men, because I can treat men as well. Of course, my heart is always with women. Now, the men come and find me for certain things, and I do treat them. But from the IV hydration, it just began to evolve. It began to evolve, I think, probably maybe like when I got my first brick and mortar. I ended up getting my first brick and mortar in around 2023 at a very unexpected time. I wasn't even trying to do anything like that. Got it at the end of 2023 and started to see more people. So I'm doing IV hydration. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I can go take a class for hormone replacement therapy where I can provide pellet therapy. It's different than what people are providing patients with in a conventional medicine setting. People are not necessarily, doing anything like that. And patients are benefiting from pellet hormone therapy.
Tell us about that, because I know a lot of my listeners are around my age.
Yeah.
So, we're like post-menopause.
Right.
Yeah.
So this again, was one of those aspects, right? Whereas, the conventional setting may not hear the patient. They may not be able to meet their needs at what they're saying is going on with them. Well, the world of wellness has opened up to where, and actually pellet therapy has been around since the 1930s. It's just that, I don't know. I know for sure that, especially coming from a Black provider, it may not have been as lucrative or as much available as now. So that's another thing. I feel like, okay, as a Black practitioner, I can provide services that may not necessarily be available to us, because you can look on the Kardashians.
They get all of that stuff.
Yeah,
so
right.
What is that therapy actually do for us as women?
Okay, so that we can probably make a whole nother show off of that.
Okay, we can.
Hormone therapy, oh my gosh, and I'm so involved and have delved deeper into this even as time has gone. Hormone therapy, I mean, we know menopause, perimenopause is a part of people's life that really, it really seems like a train has wrecked your entire life. And our hormones are necessary. That's why we were born with them. We were born with progesterone, testosterone, as well as estrogen. And when those things begin to decline, so does a lot of our health. Now, it's not just, people think, oh, I'm just going through the change and hormones changing, just hot flashes, but it's a lot of things going on inside of the person's body. We're talking declining cardiovascular health, declining cognitive health. They have found that declining of estrogen leads to dementia and Alzheimer's. Of course, the bones become brittle. This is where we get osteoporosis. So, all of these things are our cardiac health, our bone health, and our mental health, as far as our cognitive health, are all declining when estrogen is declining. And so, no, a lot of times women have been told, oh, your hormones are normal. Oh, no, your labs look normal, but then they don't feel normal. It's because they're not. And it's because the estrogen is not where it used to be. Yeah, it might fall in the normal range, but it's still not normal for that person. So people are suffering left and right. They think that they can try to get through it. Now, for Black women, we suffer earlier with these symptoms, stuff such as hot flashes, such as brain fog, such as fatigue, such as hair loss. Oh gosh, it goes on and on. A weight gain, a loss of libido. We suffer from that earlier on, and it lasts for us longer. Okay, so now vasomotor symptoms are what they are called. When those symptoms are present, those are risk factors for decline of all of those things that I was talking about. Now, the fact that we get it earlier and longer, that means we're at risk earlier and we're at risk longer. So now, again, like I'm in a space as a birthing midwife, I feel like I'm here in this space as a practitioner for hormone therapy replacement, because I'm here to help women birth themselves again, so we don't have to die early. Because if we don't get a hold of these things and if we don't replace our hormones, we're declining, and it's not going to stop, because the hormones are not coming back. They are going to decline, and they're going to continue.
Wow. So that's why it's called hormone replacement.
Yes.
Because there's nothing we can do to get them back.
No, you have to replace them.
You have to replace them. Yeah, tell me about the 3 pillars. I want to know about the 3. I got to have you back, okay? Because we don't have enough time. Everything about you is so interesting. So the 3 pillars: hydration, wellness, and beauty.
Yes.
So we talked about the hydration a bit. I guess what with the wellness and the beauty, what is that connected to?
Okay. So the wellness, hydration. So that we talked about hydration, which is our IV hydration therapy in many aspects to meet many things. And then you got your wellness. So wellness, this hormone replacement falls under wellness. Weight management. I also treat women for their metabolic health, because that falls under like, weight management. So a lot of people have heard of the GLP-1 and the GIP medications, which have done wonders for many, many people. And they continue to, but that's not the only way that we can, get our weight under control. There's other peptides that can be used. There's other modalities that also can be used. But at the same time, when I tell my patients, it's not all about weight loss. If your cholesterol is high, if your thyroid is not functioning in its optimal position, if you have cortisol that is so high that it's causing inflammation throughout your body is not going to function, and you're not going to lose weight the way you think that you want to. Wow. All of these things encompass the wellness. I also deal with the sexual health as well, because with hormone replacement therapy, that usually has also declined. And so gut health, there's also rest and reset. A lot of people are not sleeping properly. They're not resting properly. Therefore, their body is very, very inflamed, because the cortisol levels are high. Some people's adrenal glands are just shot and burned out because they're not sleeping and they're not stopping. So we see all of that in Spa Femme. I usually, the way we started off is I will do a lab panel for patients, depending on what symptoms they tell me. I know what labs to order. I get those labs drawn, and I go over very comprehensively with the patient what's going on with the labs, and I usually compare right up to the symptoms that they are experiencing, and then I place them in a program that's going to assist and help with that. So it might just be high grade supplements. We're definitely going to tag in the diet. You might need an anti-inflammatory diet along with the supplements that you're using, and we add in exercise plan. We add in a lot of check-ins so we can make sure things are going in the direction that it needs to go. So we're over here doing not just hydration anymore. It has started to really, really come to a place of its own. And then the beauty area, another place where Black women are not, is when we are doing aesthetics and aesthetics practice too. So aesthetics, I look at aesthetics more so of like an anti-aging and a preservation type of health management. So people, Botox and fillers, you don't want the Botox to make you look like something that you're not, or the fillers to make you look like something that you're not, but this can help to preserve. People say, well, Black don't crack, but it does bend. So there's some things. Baby,
let me tell you.
It does bend. So we can preserve our skin, and it's even better that we have the melanin and we have the elasticity and the collagen that we have, but there's sometimes we need help with other things. So I'm here with microneedling and Botox and fillers, and, to be able to enhance, you want that confidence as well. So that's the 3 pillars, and that's how those are spread out.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I got to have you back, because you got to talk more. I had a show with some ladies and myself. It was 50 fabulous, fun, and fantastic or something. But anyway, we kind of hit on dealing with going through menopause. And we started talking about all the different things we were experiencing while going through menopause. But it would be really good to have you come on and just kind of like help us kind of walk through some of the things that we've been experiencing and not really knowing how to address it. Yes. And I think it would be a blessing to other women, because we don't know. Some things we just don't know. All we know, and I was telling them, I said, all I knew is I saw my mother-in-law get real hot.
Yep.
And start fanning, pick up anything and just start fanning and cooling herself off, and I saw her do that for many years.
Yes.
And I didn't really know. And I tell people all the time, I really didn't have a gauge for myself to know when I was going to enter into menopause, because my mother died when I was 11. Okay. So I didn't see, she didn't go through menopause. She was just 32 years old. Okay. And my grandmother, I wasn't raised around her. So I really didn't have a gauge on when this may happen to me, or what that looks like, or what I might go through. I just knew and saw women, different, women who got hot, but didn't know everything else that came with going through menopause, so
depression.
I would love to have you come on as someone that could talk to us about that. Yes. Because I mean, you got it going on, girl. I am so not just impressed, but I'm so very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Just feel so honored that I've known you for as many years as I have, and you've done so many wonderful things. And it's amazing to see us doing great. And we shouldn't be out there hating on each other. We should be celebrating each other. Yes. And so that's one of the reasons. One reason, because I want people to be educated about things. But another reason was because I believe you deserve to be celebrated for the many accomplishments that you have accomplished in your life and are doing. You're an encouragement to other women like yourself, in your age group and first ladies. Hey, you don't have to just be the first lady. You can do something else. You can get a degree, you can have a career, you can do all those things. So I just want to thank you for being here today. I appreciate all this great information that you've shared with us today. Tell us about where we can find Spa Femme.
Yes. So definitely you can definitely find me on Instagram at Your Spa Femme, and it's spelled URSPAFEMME. And then you also could find us on at www.yourspafemme, so URSPAFEMME.com. And so from here you'll find telephone numbers. You can book a call if you have more questions. You can if there is some question that you might have, definitely I do a call with you so we can kind of sort out and see what's next for you. And on the website, actually, there is that there's a link at the top of the website that kind of talks. It says to do a comprehensive wellness intake. That is that intake that would allow for you to tell me what your symptoms are, and then we can start working together, starting at the lab work. So that's usually where the roadmap starts out. I would love to help anybody that I absolutely can. I am so involved and so passionate about this.
You are. I see you.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to you for just allowing me here. And it has been a pleasure. I could talk all day about this kind of stuff. And
I love that.
I really love it.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you again for joining me today. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time out to watch It's Just Kim. The live show. We are here bi-weekly. We are here twice. Actually, we're here every week. Our show is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then we have our Coffee with Kim, the podcast. I have to get you on the podcast because on the podcast, we can just talk. Okay.
Sounds good.
We don't have any parameters with the podcast. Okay. Right. But thank you. Look, everybody, you all call Spa Femme and get yourself taken care of. If whatever it is you may need. For more information about Spa Femme, visit the website URSPAFEMME.com. Your Spa Femme. Thank you, Charlette. God bless you. I'm so proud of you. Look, y'all take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.